Well, if you guys are fans of ChocoPro, you guys are always on the right channel. So today, of course, we're going to be reviewing ChocoPro with four of the recent events. The first one, of course, is 531, which is one of the big shows that took place at the Tokyo Square in Itabashi, featuring, of course, two title matches, the Asian Dream Tag Team belts and the Super Asia Championship as well. We'll see if there's going to be any title exchanges once the matches are done. But however, of course, the three remaining shows go back to Ichigaya Square with number 532, 533, and 534, with some interesting matches, of course, fun and wacky, of course, not to mention exhibition matches from the rookies who are still in training, who are yet to have their big debut just yet. So we'll see how that plays out too. And then, as always, we'll wrap up our episode as usual with some news updates, giving you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready with another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We will, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do some real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We even got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us and click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough of the jibber jabbers. Let's get started. So, as I said before, it's all about ChocoPro. So let's start with their big show, of course, number 532, Make at USA. Alright, ChocoPro number 531, Make at USA. This happened, of course, on June 25th, I believe, at the Tokyo Square in Itabashi, which is one of their big shows. Keep in mind, folks, like majority of the shows they do is in Ichigaya Square, but they often do shows in Shinjuku Face, Shinkiba, Tokyo Square, wherever is possible. So this is one of their big shows. But it opened up, of course, with the ChocoPro Idol unit, known as now Riri Ringo, consistent of Mei Shiruga, Kaho, and of course backing them up is the three trainees, Waka, Rin, and Shiyu. So basically they're the usual thing, Mei's theme song that she normally performs. So that's how things started out. Now, our first match, of course, features tag team action. We got, of course, Kung Fu Panda, consisting of Lee Yone Yamankoa, consistent of Coyote Yoneyama, and So What, Shon Shiru, taking up the action. They take on Kaho Hiromi and Tokiko Kihara. Now, obviously, when it comes to Kaho and Tokiko, we can assume that this is a makeshift team. Now, of course, Kaho has teamed up with many teams in the past, and none of them are her partners. I know Tokiko's actual tag team partner is Antonio Honda, but he's not available. I'm sure he's busy with his DDT duties, of course. But obviously, when it comes to teams that teamed up a whole bunch, of course, like Lee and Sean, they are the most strongest team. And it was, in fact, what's her name? Yomeno Alka actually picking up the win with the O'Connor roll on Tokiko. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now, our next match, we have, of course, coming all the way from Seedling, Honori Hanan, and of course, Mei Shruga. And I thought this was a pretty good, solid match. Obviously, because Honori Hana is still a rookie, and I think she's one half of the tag team champions with what's her name, with Unagi, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, this was a good opportunity for her, and I felt like she could have won this match. But no, Mei Shruga was able to pick up the win with the jackknife, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Next up, we have another tag team. We have Monetatsu Nakamura teaming up with Miles Kanu. They take on, of course, Best Buds, consistent of Chris Brooks and Balinaki. Now, of course, we have seen Chris Brooks and Balinaki. Well, originally they were like rivals from different teams, and now that they are, in fact, a real tag team, they're acting like a new version of the Best Bros, but more their best buds. You know, something I'm sure that Mei Shruga does not like. And of course, both of them can't stand Mei Shruga shenanigans. But anyway, of course, the match was pretty good. But as you already know, that when it comes to Chris and Balin, we know that they have been a very solid tag team so far. Not the best, but solid. They were able to get their footing. They really coexisted very, very well. And as for, of course, Nakamura and Miles, well, we know they're a makeshift team. They're getting their footing, but not yet there. But in the end, it was, of course, the combination of the senton, then a gut punch onto Miles by both men, and just like that, Balinaki picked up the win by pinfall. 1, 2, 3. It was over. Our next match is the Asian Dream Tag Team belts. The challengers, of course, are resident chefs, Minoru Fujita and Saika Obihiro, or as we know her, Obi, take on, of course, the champions Chiko Shikawa and Sayaka. Now, keep in mind, folks, we have two Sayakas in this match. Sayaka Obihiro, we just call her Obi. So I'm going to go in that reference so you guys won't get lost. So, of course, obviously, when it comes to a resident chefs, we've seen what they always do. They always bring the goddamn gong bell to help out, you know, like, to get you disorient. But however, they were able to somehow isolate one over the other, and it was, of course, Obi that was able to pick up the win onto Sayaka, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, brand new tag team champions. Now, our next match, of course, is the Super Asia Championship. Soi versus Miyatsuba, tag partners, now standing opposite side of each other. So if you guys know, these two ladies are tag team partners. They even won the tag team belts, and they only had it for a short time until losing them, of course. But it's interesting to see these two ladies facing off each other, of course, in this matter. We have seen Soi, as you know, as not the original of the Pro Wrestling Evolution, but someone who's decided to carry on now that Chi-Chi and Zones is gone. But she's stepping up into her own game, and she showed a lot of her power and strengthness, unlike Mia, who, in fact, we've seen her how much she has changed and grown over the years. And that's exactly what she has done, too. And she applied the Mia punch, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Mia retained the championship. So I thought the event was really fun. I enjoyed it. I can't wait to see what things will go down the road with them. But for now, we'll leave things as it is and move on with the next ChocoPro show, and I believe this one is 532. Alright, we continue with more with ChocoPro with number 532 in Ichigai Square. This happened on the 28th of June, of course. Balinaki opened up the show as usual, giving the greetings, the info on what the matches were going to be, and the whole thing. We opened up with an exhibition match, which, of course, we had the two rookies, Rin and Chiyu, facing off together. As you all know, these two ladies made their debuts differently, of course. They faced off each other, but obviously, I didn't think how this was gonna go down because if you notice the different, if you ever watch this, there's a bit of a size difference between Rin and Chiyu. Obviously, Rin may have a bit of the power in her. If you look at her, Chiyu has a bit of like the speed type of capability, similar to Kaho and Mei, of course. I don't know if that played out a factor, but however, it was Rin with a headlock pinfall onto Chiyu, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, she picked up the win. Now, our next match, we have Kaho Hiromi taking on Chiko Shikawa. Now, I think they might have faced off each other too many times, but of course, when it comes to Kaho, we know she is a bit of a child that knows exactly what she needs to do. But however, don't let the size fool you. But she, of course, we know she's a veteran. We know she knows what to do with someone like Kaho, even though she has no will grudges against her. But unfortunately, she ended up taking the pinfall, of course, winning the match to Kaho, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, she picked up the win. Next up, we have Monetatsu Nakamura teaming up with Sayaka. They face against Soy and one half of the Agent Dram Tag Team Champions, Obi herself. Now, obviously, it's going to be a very interesting match because, as you know, Obi is standing right across from the opponent that she defeated for those tag belts previously. And I'm sure Sayaka is going in the back of her mind, it's payback time for what you took away from me. And I'm sure that's what Sayaka would want, of course. Obviously, is no secret of that. And I'm sure that's what he would want. But however, I don't know if the situation when it comes to pinning Obi, would there be a guaranteed shot of the Agent Dream Tag Team belts? Well, that would be nice. But however, it was Sayaka who picked up the win onto Soy, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, next up, which is our main event, we have the Best Bros, Balinaki and Mei Shruga. They take on Tokiko Kihara and the Super Agent Champion, Miya Yatsuba. Now, obviously, it's no secret that Miya and Mei, as you know, have a very interesting relationship. If those who have not been following ChocoPro at all, for who knows when you started watching, Miya was trained by none other than Mei Shruga, and Miya was the first ever non-trainee that was not trained by none other than Emi Sakura, since she founded this promotion all those years ago. So that plays out pretty well too. We have seen Miya grow up so much, but unfortunately, when it comes to the Best Bros, we know that they are very good at being a cohesion team. We've seen that like countless times, maybe thousands, who knows. But in the end, we saw a double pinfall on both Valiant and Mei, pinning both Tokiko and Miya, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. Now, for our Jonkin tournament, it was a real fun one, but the finals ended up with Balinaki versus Tokiko. Obviously, it didn't matter to me who was going to win, but in the end, it was Balinaki who picked up the win and won the chocolate. And just like that, that's all she wrote, folks. So I thought it was a real fun match. I mean, I'm not sure if the double pin would affect, of course, Miya being the Super Agent Champion. That plays out, I don't know, but we'll see. But for now, let's move on to our next ChocoPro event, and that is, of course, number 533. All right, ChocoPro number 533. Of course, as always, Balinaki opened up the show as usual, doing the greeting, giving the matches and all that stuff, so that plays out pretty well. Of course, once again, we had another exhibition match. This one, of course, we have a handicap match. We have Rin and Chiyu teaming up, and they take on, of course, Mei Suruga. Now, obviously, I think some of you questioned a lot would say, wouldn't that be an unfair advantage? No, Mei Suruga has experience, and this is not the first time we see an exhibition match. It was a 2-on-3, a 2-on-3 or 2-on-1 scenario. Obviously, the veterans picked up the win because, of course, the opponents, the rookies, of course, are still young and they are easily to be tried to put away. But May did pick up the win when she double pinned both ladies, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, adios. Next up, we have Monotatsu Nakamura teaming up with Balin Aki. They take on Chiko Shikawa and Shin Suzuki. Now, obviously, we have seen Balin Aki and Shin Suzuki have a very interesting rivalry over the years, and we know they always trying to one-up each other. We have seen Monotatsu Nakamura and Chi teamed up, but now on the opposite side. So obviously anything could happen in this type of match, but in the end, it was in fact Balin Aki with the Kumo roll onto Chi, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, adios. Next up, we have, of course, Kuishindo Kamen versus Soy. Now, I thought it was a pretty fun match. I mean, I don't know if Soy has ever dealt with Kuishindo before, and I thought many people love Kuishindo. He passes out snacks and candies to all the fans. But however, it was in fact a version of Everything Is Evil by Soy onto Kuishindo, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, adios. Main event, we have Mei Suruga teaming up with Chon Chiru, and of course they're doing that little sadistic laugh that Chon always does, and Mei actually joined in on the little party on that, which is kind of very disturbing, but it is what it is. They take on, of course, Obi herself, who are one half of the tag team champions, and our super agent champion, Miya Yatsuba. So obviously that was going to play out too well. Now, of course, obviously many people would say they would pin Miya since she is the top champion in ChocoPro. That would have been the obvious choice, but however, it was Chon Chiru that picked up the win onto Obi, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, I don't know if Chon has the ability to challenge for the Agent Dream Tag Team belts, but if he does, then we will see what happens from there. Now, our Jonkin tournament ended with both Obi and Balin Aki facing off, but in the end, it was Obi who picked away the win, and just like that, it was over. So she gets the piece of chocolate. So it was a fun match. So I think that's pretty much it. What happened there? Let's wrap up our last review with, of course, number 5, 34, of course. Okay, so ChocoPro number 534, our last one here. This, of course, happened on the 11th of July. This time we have, of course, the general manager, Kizuki, opening up, doing the greetings, giving the info on what matches are going to be. Now, as always, we have the exhibition match taking place. This time we have Waka taking on Mei Suruga. Now, obviously, this is one of those matches where, of course, Mei Suruga was going to pick up the win, and this is something that will be more of a learning experience for all 3 rookies. But this time it's Waka who ended up being, of course, under the, shenanigans from Mei, and she put her in a headlock pinfall, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match, we have Soy teaming up with Chiko Shikawa, and they take on Sayako Bihiro and Minoru Fujita, our resident chefs, of course. Thank God they did not use the gong on this match because it's so disorient. But it was Fujita that picked up the win by using the wall onto Soy by rolling her up, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, adios. Next up, we have Tokiko Kirihara versus Sayaka. Obviously, these two ladies know each other too well. For those who don't know, these two ladies are part of the fourth generation. They were trained under Emi Sakura around the same time, along with, of course, Lulu, Rin, but she's no longer wrestling. Sayaka herself, so basically you had many people who were trained in that very session. But however, it was Sayaka that was able to pick up the pinfall. 1, 2, 3, done. Now, our next match, we have the Best Bros, Banaki and Mei Shiruga. They take on Miles Kanu and Miya Yatsuba. Obviously, this is more like a similar version of the Best Bros, but much different with different looks and all that, because we know that Miya and Mei, they know each other very well. Not to mention their senpai, of course, that sort of thing. And of course, Banaki and Miles know each other too well too. They actually remain in communication for many years. And of course, they are going to face off each other. But however, Miles was the one who ended up on the wrong side of the dolphin press. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, adios. It was completely over. Our next match, well, it's the Janken, of course. We have, of course, in the finals, Miya Tsuba versus Minoru Fujita. I was hoping for Miya to win, but Fujita was the one who picked up the win, and Miya got runner-up. And just like that, Minoru Fujita just won the piece of chocolate. So it was an interesting event. So nothing wrong with it, but it was fun. So we'll leave things as it is with ChocoPro. We're done with everything, so let's move on to wrap up our episode with some news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So let's begin with upcoming events, starting with GCW, of course. As you know, we have the 18th of July, of course, in Dallas for Life of a Boss. They just announced Cappuccino Jones will take on Leeds Lewis. Many of you know he's a wrestler based out of France. So this is going to be a very interesting one. Now, more names have been added for the two new shows that are taking place in September. The first one, of course, on the 11th in Denver, Mind Your Business. Acticus Koger, Busta and the Brain, Dulce Tormenta, and Oren Vert will be there. And then, of course, the 12th of September in LA for No Signal in the Hills. One called Manders, The Return of Dark Sheik, and Brightmare, and Chris Nasty, who will be making his debut. Now, as you all know, there'll be more names added for the upcoming RevPro Women's Grand Prix on the 28th of this month. They just announced Jungle Kiona will be participating, so this is going to be a lot of fun. Then we have, of course, the House of Glory on the 7th of August for the women's title will be defended. Shotzi Blackheart defends it against Shayna Baszler, so that's going to be a very interesting one. Then we had the West Coast Pro event where they announced a new show called Body Slam on Broadway. That'll happen on the 25th of September. Nyla Rose has been announced to be in this one. Then we have, of course, Maple Leaf Pro with Northern Rising that will take place on the 8th of October in Toronto. And then finally, WWE has announced Survival Series War Games will take place on the 28th of November in Houston, Texas. As many of you know, my mom and my brother attended the one last year, of course, here in San Diego, and that was a lot of fun. So that's pretty much it for upcoming events. Now, there's a very interesting development regarding Will Ospreay. Let me pull that up for all of you. He mentioned something. Let's see. Here it is. So he mentioned, of course, teasing about Assassin's Creed Black Flag inspired entrance for a further down the line. Maybe not next month at Wembley, but because we had two real stellar entrances in both All-Ins in 2020 and 2023 and 2024, I don't want to oversaturate it. if we're going to do it again, some strings need to be pulled. And I do have something in my back pocket related to Black Flag, but I'm saving that for further down the line. So it's interesting. We have seen him, as many of you know. He is a big Assassin's Creed game fan, and not to mention Ubisoft, the company that makes the games, even allows him to test their new games. He did the same thing for Shadows, of course, if you guys remember that one. So yeah, that's something we've been hearing. So let's see how things will go for All In. See what entrance he'll do. I'm looking forward to it. So as of right now, we are officially done with everything. So let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up is going to be Tuesday, so I decided I'm going to focus on NXT instead. I have some things that are gone in my mind, so let's see how that plays out. But for now, we are done with everything. Let's end it right there. So until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.